by calling 672-KROE. That's 672-5763. Now, your host for Public Pulse, Aaron Palmer.
And 103.9 FM KROE, Aaron Palmer filling in for Floyd Whiting this week. And joining me this morning, we have the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Wyoming, Sheridan. What are we called? Sheridan what?
We're the Sheridan branch.
Sheridan branch. That's what I was after. Okay. And we have a full house this morning. We have, I'm going to see if I can introduce everybody. Jamie Brester. And tell me what you do with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Good morning. I am the Community Engagement Coordinator for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
And what do you do?
So basically what that means is I'm kind of the public face of Big Brothers Big Sisters. I do the PR events, setting up fundraisers, recruiting bigs and littles to be part of our programs, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you. And then we have, I want to make sure here, Cheryl Barker. And you are the site-based case manager.
Yes.
And we'll explain a little bit more about that. But what is it that you do then?
What I do is I match juniors and seniors in high school with littles at a couple elementary schools. And what happens is we look at personalities, that type of thing, and get them matched up with littles that match their personality and interests and that type of thing. And then the bigs are great mentors for them and kids that they look up to because they're in high school, and for one thing, and the littles think that they're pretty cool, so they want to replicate those kids. And it seems like it's just really rewarding on both ends for littles and bigs.
Okay, and we've got somebody else that's a different case manager, but you brought this up, so we're going to go to Cameron. And this is Cameron Record.
That's right.
Okay, and you are a high school big.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I'm one of the bigs from the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. And essentially what that means is I get to spend time with my little. So we meet about once a week on Monday mornings. And it's really just about spending time with the little. So, I mean, what we do kind of varies from week to week. But it's all about being that positive role model in the little's life and just a place where they don't have to worry about, some of the less than pleasant things they might have to deal with at home, just almost as a little, not quite a refuge, but just a little isolated place that they can spend time with and a person they can confide in if they need to.
Okay, now correct me, because I think most people, when we think of Big Brothers Big Sisters, we think of adults and children. And that's still part of the equation, correct? This is just a separate portion of the overall big picture with the high school kids and the younger kids,
right,
correct?
Yep. This is just a separate part, yet Jamie, the other Jamie that you're going to introduce, does the community ones, which is what you're talking about with the adults.
Okay, well, let's go there then. Jamie, and this is Jamie Heft,
Good morning.
correct?
Correct.
Okay, you are the community case manager, so then explain what you do as opposed to what Cheryl does.
So I do exactly what Cheryl does, except my program focuses on having the bigs and the littles meet in the community. So instead of meeting at a school, they would meet at the movie theater or at one another's house and play games and just be out in the community and on the weekends and over the summers and do fun activities together.
So the program itself, the kids that are involved, how do these kids get involved and why is this such an important thing, not just in Sheridan, but in any community? What is it that the program does that helps the younger kids?
Sure, I'll take that one.
Okay.
So our kids, we have kids from all different walks of life. There's no qualification for being in our program except that you're looking for a friend. And we take kids age 5 through young adulthood. Usually 17 is the cutoff, 16, 17, just kind of depending on where they're at in life. But any child can participate in our program. Being a mentor is something that we know works. Big Brothers has been around since 1904. We are the #1 mentoring program in the United States. We're in all 50 states. Every community's Big Brothers Big Sisters program looks a little bit different. So We're blessed in Sheridan to be able to have the partnership with our schools, which is why we can have this high school big program. Some communities are not so open to that. So luckily, our school district is very involved and realizes the need for good mentorship. But really, it's about the bond that the big and the little form, whether it's a 1-year bond, and then, sometimes, unfortunately, kids move, bigs move, things happen in life, or it's a 30-year bond. We have several bigs and littles that still communicate. In fact, our CEO was a big himself and a little himself, and he was part of his little's wedding party. So, I mean, their relationships can continue through life. It's just about forming that bond and that mentorship.
Okay, so this isn't something that how do I phrase this? That kids that have maybe they come from broken families or blah, blah, that's not necessarily the case. That's obviously part of it, but that's not a prerequisite to be involved in this. This correct?
Absolutely, yes. We have one gal in the program who has 5 brothers, and she just wanted a sister. She just wanted to know what it was like to have a sister. So she's in our program. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to come from broken homes. We take any child that just wants a friend.
Okay, well, you brought that up. Let's talk about that next. How do people get involved in this program? Say you're little, you want someone to be a mentor. How do you then become part of the program?
Sure. They can reach out to any one of us, or go to our website, which is www.bbbs, for Big Brothers Big Sisters, wyo.org. And it lists all of the things on there, whether you want to sign up to be a little, you want to sign up to be a volunteer as a big, you want to donate, you want to sponsor, anything. It's listed on our website. Or you can contact any of the 3 of us, Jamie, Cheryl, or I. My direct phone number is 307-223-0208, and we can get you in touch with starting the process.
And that's the same thing for adults that want to get involved, or young people. In
Absolutely, yes.
If they're curious or want to do this, they can just contact you, and you don't necessarily have to go through the high school, but you can. Gotcha.
Well, Cheryl actually works at the high school. We do have an office at the high school, so she's easy to find and convenient up there. So any high school bigs that are interested can find her up at the high school.
Okay, Cameron, let's go to you, because that kind of is a good segue there.
All right.
How did you decide that you wanted to do this?
Well, I heard about it during my sophomore year of high school, and my mom actually works at Sagebrush as a paraprofessional there, so she's right in kind of the heart of the core demographic where a lot of the littles from Big Brothers Big Sisters come from. And I had seen a couple other bigs at the high school do it before. So it's at the high school, you can do it as a junior or a senior, serve as a big essentially. And so I was really enthralled by the program, and I thought it was a great opportunity. So at the end of my sophomore year, I filled out my application, passed it off to Cheryl, and I was just so excited to get to participate and really spend time with the kid and hopefully be kind of that positive role model for them, and just someone that they can talk to if they want to. So, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, please.
I was just going to ask. So what kind of things do you do with the younger ones? Do you ask them what they want to do? Do you have ideas? Both? How does this work?
And that's something that'll vary from match to match. For me and my little, a lot of times will let him decide what he wants to do. Frequently, it involves going to the gym at Sagebrush. He's a little more athletically inclined than I am, but we make it work. It really just depends, basketball. This past weekend right before Christmas break, we went to his classroom and we played a game of a fusion of chess and checkers. I'm not really sure what it was called, but it was just fun to spend time with him and, chat about what he did that weekend or what he's got planned for the week. And yeah, it's just a really rewarding experience.
Very good. How many kids at the high school are involved in this? Quite a few, or
24.
Wow, that many in Sheridan.
Yeah.
Outlying communities, do they have this as well, or do they get involved with Sheridan, or can they?
Manchester is starting up a program.
Are they?
Yeah.
Very good.
So, yeah, primarily Sheridan is the largest one, I think, in Wyoming for the high school program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised.
We
Okay.
have just as many in our high school program as we have in our community-based program. So that says a lot for our high school kids.
No kidding. Good,
Yeah.
good. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick break there. We're going to kind of see where we're at and where we need to go. We're going to take a break right there, and we'll come back. You're listening to Public Pulse on 9:30 a.m. and 103.9 FM KROE. We'll be back with Big Brothers Big Sisters right after this.
First Federal Bank and Trust is excited to announce the First Federal Community Commitment Program.
Each week for 52 weeks starting in January, First Federal will select a Sheridan County nonprofit who will receive $1,000 in cash, plus Sheridan Media will match that with a marketing budget.
You can find an entry form at any First Federal Bank location or online at efirstfederal.bank. If you've received a donation from First Federal in the last 3 years, you're automatically entered into the drawing.
Community Commitment, presented by
First Federal Bank and Trust
and Sheridan Media.
Member FDIC.
Country home, just a few minutes from Claremont, Wyoming, on over 8 acres and features exquisite views. The main level has kitchen, dining, living room, and a breakfast nook, covered patio, and striking landscaping. The upper level has 2 bedrooms and a full bath, laundry, and office. Interested? Call me, Christy Kinghorn, at Buffalo Realty, connecting people with property.
Once again, the YO Theater brings Western movies back to the big screen. On January 8th, we have Buck Brannaman introducing one of the greatest of all Western movies, Red River. John Wayne, Montgomery Clift, star in a true-to-life film, Red River, that in my opinion is John Wayne's greatest performance. On January 22nd, our own Craig Johnson will host One-Eyed Jack, starring and directing by Marlon Brando. The only film that Brando ever directed, it's Ride to Vengeance. Believe me, just the Brando dialogue alone makes this a Western to remember. On January 29th, it's Ride the High Country, hosted by John Tucker, starring Randolph Scott in an amazing reversal of his stock hero roles. Scott plays the perfect good guy gone bad in this epic Western. Finally, February 5th, it's Sheridan's own Aaron Linden hosts the iconic Western Dodge City, starring Errol Flynn as the cowboy becomes the sheriff. In the YO Theater's finally classic Western film for 2023.
Quick, name the first real estate company that comes to your mind. How about a bank? Car dealership. Do you think your company came to mind first? A customer might not need your product or service today, tomorrow, or even next week, but when they do, you want them to know who you are and what you have to offer before your competitor. Hi, this is Bob Grammons with Sheridan Media. Sheridan Media can help you create top-of-mind awareness through a variety of marketing strategies that includes coverage on up to 9 radio stations, print ads in the Country Bounty that reach nearly 18,000 households in Sheridan and Johnson County via direct mail, or online with a variety of our digital products that include SheridanMedia.com, SheridanWyoming.com, email campaigns, geo-targeting, and more. We are your top-of-mind marketing company. Let us go to work for you. Call Sheridan Media today or email sales@SheridanMedia.com. Sheridan Media is an employee-owned company.
Public Pulse on 9:30 a.m. and 103.9 FM KROE. Aaron Palmer filling in for Floyd Whiting. And this morning we're talking to an entire crew from the Big Brothers Big Sisters in Sheridan. And we have, let's see if I can go through everybody's names, Jamie Brester. We have Cheryl Barker, Jamie Heft, and Cameron Record. And they're all in they do various things with the program. So we'll get back to that in a minute. But we have a few other things that we wanted to cover, excuse me. And Jamie B, we wanted to talk about some information regarding kids, stats, and volunteer information. Let's go ahead and talk about that and let people know a little bit more about that.
So January is actually National Mentoring Month,
Okay.
Which is why we thought it would be a great time to come on Public Pulse. But being a mentor, I think sometimes kind of scares people. They think they have to be these, potentially these great community leaders to be a mentor. And really all it takes is to be able to spend 1 hour a week with a child that needs someone.
But I was thinking about that earlier, and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was thinking about this because there are a lot of people out there that think, man, I can't get involved because, I have something in my past, or, I don't know if I'll pass the background check, which I'm sure there is one. There have to be if you're around children. So there are people out there that kind of not frown on it, but they're just it scares them to get involved. Should they be?
So our packets to become involved, to be a big, they're a little intimidating because they are large, but it's like I tell people all the time, if this was your child, you would want that person checked out thoroughly from head to toe. We want to know we are placing these kids in completely capable hands. So there is quite the process to become a big, but a lot of it is common sense things. So when you go through the training, the actual video trainings are, I think, an hour and 10 minutes. The application, you will have someone contact you and walk you through, what you're looking for in a little, what you're looking for in the relationship. We match based on likes and dislikes and
abilities.
Yes,
right.
Correct. And there's even questions that sometimes make people uncomfortable. How do you feel about your son or daughter being placed with, somebody who is transgender? Those things do come up, but we want to know that this match is going to be sustainable. We want to know that this match is going to be there for the right reasons. So there are some uncomfortable questions, but we just ask people to answer as honestly as possible. There's no right or wrong answer. It's how do you feel about this? We want to match you with your little, and really the little's family that's going to put their trust in you. So
that makes complete sense. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there, like I said, that are concerned about this, but they really shouldn't be.
Right.
As long as they're not, a convicted axe murderer, they don't have to worry about it. But, but there are things that they need to do, because we're talking about protecting children. And that is exactly what this is supposed to be, is a place for children to be safe.
Correct.
Okay.
If you've had a DUI in your past or something like that, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't be a mentor. We may place things like, the little's family might have to transport and things like that. So we're not, again, placing children in harm's way.
Situation.
Yes,
right.
yes. But there are plenty of people out there with past, people have passed. We get it. It's not going to stop you from being a mentor, and maybe one of the best mentors. It's just something we have to work through, and every match is different in what their, I guess not qualifications, but what their
interests and expertise.
Yeah, yeah.
So
absolutely.
in other words, if a child wanted a musical mentor, you wouldn't find somebody that was an equestrian that didn't know anything about music. That's kind of not a good match.
Right. And it could potentially be. Part of that too is getting people outside of their comfort zones a little bit. So one of my favorite stories is this guy had no interest whatsoever in sports at all and started hanging out with this little, and they started doing ping pong. And then they slowly moved to bowling. And then from bowling, they moved to basketball. And he was really good at bowling. But it was something that he never would have known had he have not had that relationship with the little who said, let's try bowling. So it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be a good match. It's just we really try hard to place people with, similar interests. Yeah. Yeah. And in Wyoming, that's a little bit easier probably to find because a lot of them have outdoor interests, right, which is great. So
fishing, camping, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I interrupted you. Let's speak more about volunteers. Sorry.
Oh, sure. So I think this is, well, I don't think, I know this is a national problem, but since COVID, there has been a shortage in volunteers across the board in every industry. And we're no different. Our organization is short on volunteers. I think we have 7 littles in waiting right now that could potentially sit there for 6 to 9 months until we find them a match. We don't have as many big applications coming in right now. So one of the ways we tried to boost this in our program is through business partnerships. And right now we do have one with First Northern Bank. And what that means is First Northern has bought into our program. They believe in our program, and they have allowed their employees time off of work to go see their littles. So whether that means they're site-based and they go to their schools to see them, or they're community-based and they take an hour to go hang out with their little in the afternoon, First Northern has given them that opportunity. So once a week they get that hour and a half, or whatever their time is, to go see their little, paid.
Great.
So we're looking for some business partnerships this year. That would be the icing on the cake for me, is to grab a couple business partnerships and really discuss the pros of how that really benefits the organization as well as the business.
So if there's a business listening that is possibly interested, contact you.
Yes, please. Again, my phone number is 307-223-0208, Jamie Brester, or you can find me at jamie@bbbswyo.org.
And this doesn't take a huge investment of time for the business to do this, does it?
No, it doesn't. In fact, the gal from First Northern told me that she either leaves during her lunch hour, or and takes her time then, or she'll say, hey, I hung out with my little this weekend, so I'm going to leave at 4:00 today, or whatever the case may be. And First Northern has just been rock stars in partnering with us on this. So
okay,
it would be great to get a couple more businesses on board.
Not a huge investment. Good. Yeah. So if the businesses are listening,
yes,
give them a call.
Yes, please.
And some of the stats, we were talking about this during the break. This is really helpful to not just the community kids, but the mentors, as you said, as well. So let's talk a little bit about the stats that you have there.
Yeah. So again, National Mentoring Month, and it doesn't take much to be a mentor. It just takes someone that wants to spend time with a little. I can't stress that enough. So anybody out there that's thinking, I don't know, I'm not that great, I don't really have much to offer. You don't have to have anything to offer except your time and your willingness to listen to a child. But some of the stats from our program are 90% of the littles said that their relationship with their big has helped them make better choices throughout their childhood. 94% say they have confidence they will achieve their goals despite the obstacles that they face. 90% agreed that their big made them feel better about themselves. 95% of littles said going to school and getting a good education is very important. Yeah, they say they get along better with their family and friends. They do better in school.
Yeah.
They're more likely to steer clear of drugs and alcohol, and they're more confident in themselves. And that's just basic stats from our program. So.
And Cameron, you said you wanted to speak a little bit about your little, because there's been some benefits that you have noticed with this arrangement with you two as well. So tell me about that.
Certainly. Well, at the very beginning, and I'm always going to remember this, the very first Monday morning that we met, Cheryl was there. I think my little's parents were there, or his mother was there. Mm-hmm. And the very first thing I remember is that he was very, very shy. He was not very sure of himself. He was very much testing the waters. It was something that was new and he wasn't too sure about. But even over the course of the past school year, which was our first year together as a match, I could definitely see over the course of these weeks a progression in him as he slowly became more comfortable with himself. And he knew that these Monday mornings were a time he didn't have to worry about anything else. He didn't have to worry about what he was going to be doing at school that day or that week or what had happened on the weekend. And he could just have a good time. And even as we've moved into this year, I've seen him become so much more talkative. At the beginning, I'd always kind of probe him with questions to try to see how he was doing. And I'd get the very simple answers that I'm sure many parents can remember when they ask their kids how school was.
It happens in radio too.
Yes, it does. But, and as he's gotten older and just become more confident in himself, he's sometimes the one asking questions. Oh, hey, Cameron, what did you do this weekend? And it's a really awesome experience to see him just growing so much.
Coming out of his shell.
Yes, exactly. Coming out of his shell. Great way to put it.
Okay. Jamie Heft. evidence-based practices. We wanted to talk about that. What exactly is that, and how does it pertain to what we're talking about here?
Yes. So one of the really neat things about the Big Brothers Big Sisters program is that the program itself is evidence-based, which means that there's been studies done and it's been found that it is significantly effective for kids and mentors, both, to have positive outcomes within our community, which is super exciting because that's honestly where my passion is building community. And how do we build communities that support one another, that are proactive, that, take care of one another. And that's really the heart of Big Brothers Big Sisters, are connecting littles who might not have positive influences in their lives and connecting them to people who do. And that's just invaluable because you're changing people's lives. Like, you're showing up and you're saying, I care. And that's just, there's no better program really to really show people that, are struggling, that might, be making choices that might be detrimental to their future, as far as like not pursuing education or, starting to use drugs and alcohol as a way to cope with their circumstances. But to have an alternative, to have somebody there to be like, I care, I believe in you, here are some other options for you, and to show them the way. And that's just really important and really life-changing in a lot of ways. So at the heart of it, like, Big Brothers Big Sisters really has a huge impact on our community. And that's what I think, for me, what makes this program so special.
My son, who's grown, obviously, was actually part of this program in his hometown that he grew up in. And he has nothing but great memories with this. His mentor would take him fishing, would go do whatever with him. And it was great because, I lived here and he lived there. And so I wasn't there as much as I should have been. But his mentor was there, and he is very well adjusted as an adult. He didn't get into the crazy stuff that some kids do. And he's really an excellent human being. But I think the mentoring program through his town's Big Brothers Big Sisters was actually part of that.
That's
awesome.
It really
was.
That's
great. I agree with you. I think it's a great program. One of the things we wanted to talk about before we wrap up is hockey night.
Sure.
And what's going on there? This is a hockey night for Big Brothers Big Sisters. What's going on there?
Yes. So every year in January, we partner with the Junior Hawks team. Okay. This year it will be on Friday the 13th at the M&M Center. And they are generous enough to allow our bigs and our littles in for free, as well as our littles' families, so that they can go enjoy a night of watching hockey, which some of those families may not get the opportunity to do some of these community things, whether it's financial reasons or whatnot. So it's really a big deal. They will also be auctioning off a jersey that night, and hopefully we'll have a big that will be singing our national anthem. And then Cameron says, not me. And then
you should have seen the back and forth between these two. Nobody could see it, but they're like, no, yes, no, yes.
And then one of our bigs and littles will have a chance to be out on the ice to do the puck thing. So
Drop the puck.
Yes, cool. Yep. So it's a great experience. Really awesome that we get to partner with them and they allow us this opportunity each year. Our families really look forward to it. And then one other thing that we have coming up, actually because of Mentoring Month on January 10th, VacuTech kindly sponsored a celebration of our high school bigs. So Java Gypsy will be at the high school parking lot, and each of our high school bigs will be given a token to get a free coffee that day. And that was sponsored by VacuTech. So VacuTech, if you're listening, thank you so much for that. And that's, again, to celebrate our Mentoring Month and let our high school bigs know just how much they mean to us and our program and to their littles. So.
High school kids do not like coffee at all.
Especially boba. They hate it.
Okay. Sounds like you have a busy month coming up. It's a great program. Wanted to introduce everybody one more time. Jamie Brester, Community Engagement Coordinator, and Cheryl Barker, Site-Based Case Manager. Jamie Heft, community case manager, and also Cameron, and I think I called you Cam a couple of times. I apologize.
No problem.
Cameron Record, who is one of the high school bigs with the program. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Wyoming, Sheridan branch. Sheridan division. Sheridan branch. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. If anybody has questions about joining, about volunteering, about donating money, again, where can they go?
Yes. So again, Jamie Brester. My phone number is 307-223-0208. My email is jamie@bbbswyo.org. Or you can simply Google us, or our website is bbbswyo.org, and that will bring you up to a page where you can find all the local branches. So.
Very good. Thank you. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Wyoming here in Sheridan. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
That's Public Pulse on 9:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, KROE. Aaron Palmer. I'll be back tomorrow, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
First Federal Bank and Trust is committed to our community.
Beginning in January, we'll be donating $1,000 cash each week for 52 weeks to a qualified Sheridan County nonprofit organization, and Sheridan Media will match that with a marketing budget.
First Federal is one of 2 mutual banks in Wyoming, which means they don't pay stockholders. They reinvest your funds right back into the place we call home. Visit efirstfederal.bank for details. Community commitment, presented by
First Federal Bank and Trust
and Sheridan Media.
Member FDIC.
Are you ready to begin your college journey but aren't sure where to start? Sheridan College will help guide you every step of the way. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday during business hours to meet with an enrollment expert to answer any questions you may have. With over 50 programs of study, there's truly something for everyone. For a complete list of degree programs, go to sheridan.edu. Registration is now open for the spring and summer semesters. Classes begin January 23rd. Sheridan College, begin your journey.
Are you or a loved one facing physical challenges and need to simplify your life, but you're not ready for assisted living? For roughly a third of the cost of assisted living, you can be living at Tumbleweed Terrace Apartments. These are one-level, fully furnished apartments close to the hospital. They feature wheelchair, scooter, or walker accessible living, heated floors, heated bathrooms, completely designed for ADA safety amenities, including the shower. They're fully furnished, including a remote-controlled bed, lift chair, fully stocked kitchen with dishes, pots, and pans. An optional carport or heated garage are available. Snow removal and lawn care are included. These are short-term or long-term rentals, which include all utilities, cable, and Wi-Fi. Simplify for as long as you need to. Call Jane Clark, licensed real estate agent and co-owner today for your no-obligation tour and to get more information. Jane Clark, 751-5576. 751-5576.
Wrap Plumbing and Heating has been serving Sheridan since 2010. With all these years of experience, you can rely on them to handle all of your plumbing and heating needs. From new construction to remodels, repairs of existing systems to retrofitting, Wrap Plumbing and Heating can do it all. They are professional, clean, and courteous. Call 429-1196 for all your plumbing or heating needs. As we like to say, if you find a leak, let Dan take a peek.
Dan Marshall here with Captain Clean. Your heating and cooling system are the lungs of your home or business, taking air in and breathing it out, directly affecting your indoor air quality. Normal day-to-day activity generates lots of contaminants and air pollutants such as dander, dust, and chemicals. Call today for your free HVAC cleaning estimate. It's 100%